First of all, Colin Fuss work anniversary. Doesn't have a date, I assume it was this week at some stage.
55 years.
There it is. I think it's just the work anniversary for here.
How many years?
Doesn't say.
80?
So, update on this week's work. It's Wednesday, so not a lot, but HV low voltage maintenance. We've got a 2 MVA transformer install, Carnival Terrace, which Nick's running. That's starting today. Come on in. Yeah, so Carnival Terrace, 2 MVA transformer install. Nick's also got a job just out the front here. I believe a coal transformer here. For LA Industries. Cold Dragon has already snagged that one for an order. So that's all good. And then we've got some crews going up Swan Reach. That was just an oversight, Quinny, if you want to. Yep, okay. Easy. Alright, well I was going to go through the switching toolbox, but since you're already in now, Nick, I'll hand that over to you, mate. And you got the alerts as well?
Well, happy with the alerts.
I got the alerts, that's okay.
So last week's switching summary. So just some general information. We currently have one working cyber key to access shared subs, and that is with yourself. Basically, if anyone's got a current cyber key, let me know, and we'll try and get them working so we have a few more poked around the depot, just to make life a bit easier. One from Tim, underground fault crew were installing a forward test board in a Mark II pad mount transformer. Whilst bolting the D-bolts from the bus with the shotgun stick, all the washers and D-bolt itself came free from the cable lugs. Crews were able to attach to a forward test board safely, just to highlight to be aware of the potentials of D-rings falling apart on those Mark II, so something to keep in the back of your mind. Just to reinforce, make sure all of your LV and HV test gear is in date and serviceable every time you use it. If not, report it if you're report to your relevant 6 ASAP. Just a few things to end on. Continue the high level of communication during switching between the operator and checker and switching coordinator. Well done. It's come up lots about communication, so keep it up. We've had several items missing from SPs in the recent weeks, which have been picked up when having the briefing. Well done here to the field crews, and continue the vigilant and asking questions during the briefings. Just the good news stories, 106 days, no switching incident, and reinforce the 0700 start times for the toolboxes. That's me, mate.
Cheers, Nick. So a couple of switching alerts that come through. SA Power started doing these, what they call new eyes audits. It's where different depots will be going around auditing other depots. They come across an instance where they found crew switching, didn't fill out their general operator tags properly, didn't fill out their switching sheets properly, and also didn't have working earth installed. So that's pretty pissed poor, really. We don't want to be seen doing anything like that. I don't think we are. So just keep it in mind, keep doing what we're doing, because I believe we're doing it right. But I believe these new eyes audits will be coming to us as well. So next one.
We're looking to find stuff too.
Yeah, well, that's
We're
right.
realistic. We're looking a bit harder. But when you have a switching coordinator on a sheet with no times in there, that's ordinary. I wouldn't expect I'd do something about it if we had someone that did that.
Very ordinary. I don't think that's happened here at all. Another one, Kangaroo Island, looks like the crew has changed the low voltage arm. On restoration, they went to remove earths. There was a light in the way, so they decided to remove the light from the pole. After they removed the light, they proceeded to close one of the low voltage taps. The earth were on the same pole that got closing on. So obviously that blew a fuse and caused an outage to the customers on that phase for about 40 minutes, I believe. So I'm not quite sure how they managed that one, but just be wary. Don't get distracted. If you're going to take out another task, go back to your switching sheet, make sure you're on the right item, especially your checker, to ensure that that's correct. That's it for switching alerts. There was a work practice bulletin come out about brake arms and changing them live. It's not permitted at all. We're not doing it at all now anyway. It does mention that if you you get a specifically prepared work method for the job if there was a case where we had to do it for whatever reason. So you won't be getting sent out to do your brake arm live without a specifically prepared method. Okay. Next on the list, we've had 3 DS near-miss hazards, which Corey's going to run through for us.
Yep. Out on site, some of the crews came across a LS that wasn't locked. Crews noticed it, no lock. Confirmed the switch was in the correct position and advised HVC and to fix a new lock. Got property damage. The boom insulation, just the gel coating on the nifty lift was chipped away. That was while landing the bucket. Just careful, especially with the nifty lifts because they're pretty up. So both HVC and the crews noticed an item missing to pull back knob once the isolation was completed. They noticed it prior to switching, so that was put in.
Just on that LS incident where a lock was missing, apparently we had crews switching out on SA36, would have been some years here, spoke to HBC and they asked if there was anything weird out there because apparently someone's been opening and closing air brakes out there. So I let Mick Evans know about this lock missing and he's investigating at the moment because there's potential someone's going around ripping locks off again. So just be vigilant out there at site. You go to operate a switch, make sure it is in the correct condition it's meant to be in. Okay. General depot stuff. Structure changes. I'm sure you're all aware now. Sean stepped in to help out in the office. Baden's gone back out in the tools for a while to refresh himself on that. So with that comes a snowball effect of structure changes. Leanne's doing a good job trying to get the schedule to fit how the new structure will be, which is going to get put up shortly. Just want to let everyone know that your crews will change a bit in the next coming weeks until we can find that stability going forward. But our aim is just to keep the TSW6 with the folder. So we're not handing over folders because that's the biggest risk, but you're likely to get a brief from not your 6. Okay? Next is generator keys. We've had two instances. The last 2 times we've had generators and the generator keys didn't go back. They're starting to get really pissed off at us. We've got to stop that. I'm looking into the generator keys. We got cut. Apparently we got 15 sets cut. So if anyone has generator keys, can you please return them? Because I'm told they're meant to be put on the truck keys. I checked all the ones on the board, they're not there. So what I would like to do is collate them all, issue them to a truck key, and then every truck's got a set. And then when we use a generator, we just leave the keys where they are and use our own keys. Because they'll just stop letting us hire them out if we just keep doing that. Next is entering the correct odometer reading when refueling. That's pretty straightforward. Just enter your correct odometer reading when refueling. Caution on size and extent of tree trimming. You've just noticed there's a lot of large tree trimmings in the bin out there, and Bruce hasn't been aware of any cutting, so as long as you're aware, especially in the sensitive Unley, Norwood, St Peters, Plain and council areas, we shouldn't be cutting anything unless it's really minor without council approval. So keep that in mind. If you do have trees to cut, give your 6 a call, give Bruce a call, get some advice, but hopefully we'll be on the front foot of that before you even get to the job. Next on the list, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 safety alerts, which Ryan is going to go through for us.
Right guys, so the first one's on a battery grinder, similar to what we carry on all of our trucks. TSW is cutting some slots in the old rainwater tank to get it ready for removal. After they've cut a few slots in it, water's started gushing out. It's jammed the the grinder. The TSW has attempted to remove the disc from where it was caught. In doing so, the hand has slipped and their left index finger made contact between the disc and the guard on the grinder. So the TSW was administered with 2 stitches to his left index finger, so they have cut themselves while doing it. So some actions required, thorough risk assessment obviously, and always wear your PPE when doing that, especially gloves. It's going to help you with the sparks. And it is not recommended to use handheld grinders in wet conditions. So remember that one. And also when using handheld grinders, if it gets stuck, remove the battery, and there's no risk of it spinning if your hand does go in there. Alright, second one is on a drill press in a depot, similar to the one we have over in the tool area. So there was a TSW operating the drill press, and they did not identify that the bolts were missing out of the device that you hold whatever you're drilling in on the bottom plate. So they've started doing their drilling in a bit of brass material, and what has happened is the drill bit has jammed and it's spun that vice around, smacked them in the gut and winded them. They've managed to press the emergency stop button, so there was no further injuries, but actions required. Worksite leaders should ensure training and familiarisation is to take place. So don't operate it if you don't know what you're doing, and then make sure you definitely know where the emergency stop button is. Right. Next one I've got is an arc. So there was some switching taken out for a stovey pole replacement, and the crews had to open a low voltage isolator, and it looks like they've used an extendable stick, and it's one of those real wide old wooden cross arms that have the huge flat braces, and it's got that blue phase in the middle between the brace and the pole. So it's jammed up a bit, it's an old isolator, and as they've gone to open it, it's pulled back and the head of the switching head has gone between the blade of the isolator and that brace, and it's flashed over. So there was no loss of supply and no injury. Everyone was wearing the correct PPE, but if you get some of those old ones, just make sure you take an assessment, go up there and spray it if required, and if it looks too difficult to do from the ground, you're going to have to go up in the bucket to open it. Cool. Last one is from Active Tree Services. So there was a significant incident on this one. So at the end of July, there was a climber, and he was approximately 12 metres up, so he's climbed the tree. And what has happened, he was in the process of resetting his main line, not entirely sure what that is, when the branch that he was standing on for support gave way. This fall shock loaded the branch his flip line was around, causing it to fail at the trunk, and it started a chain reaction of a further 10 branches also failing. The climber's fallen pretty much, I believe, all the way to the ground, and he's come, he's taken one branch off that was approximately 3.5 metres from the ground, which the climber's weight also broke, and that has come down on the residence fence as well. There were 3 safety observers on site, and straight away they've taken action, called the correct people, got an ambulance out on site, and began first aid. The climber sustained some muscle damage to his right leg and hip, along with minor cuts and abrasions, which is really good considering what could have happened falling from 12 metres up in the air. So he's escaped without any life-threatening injuries. Currently, all climbing activities have been suspended on the SA Power Networks network, pending investigation, and due to the traumatic incident from staff members, they've all been provided counselling services as well. Learning points. Climbing is a high-risk task that requires a thorough pre-start assessment and constant reassessment during every climb. Preliminary assessment deemed all equipment to be sound and free of faults, but all that equipment has now been taken out of service for further investigation. That's all I've got. It says tree climbing, I believe. This is from Active Tree Services, so if nothing's come out to us from SAPN as a directive, it wouldn't be for those. Thanks, Ron.
That's all I've got. Cobbs, you got anything you want to?
Just some feedback from yesterday. Spoke to the GMs and Rob afterwards. Really positive feedback from them.
just about everyone here, you know, and the way we're going about it. So thanks for yesterday, and you'll also hear on the traps something went wrong with the restoration on a cable fault job yesterday at St Mary's. Don't know the details yet. Some people were left off supply. Don't know what type of incident it is. We'll find out more today and let everyone know in due course. But yeah, you'll hear it around the traps a bit, I suppose. Whether it's going to end up being a switching incident or not, we don't know. Okay, so we'll find out. Cool.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, thanks yesterday for it was a crap day. It was one of those days that I was happy to be inside. Not many of them in the year. So the guys that worked through, thanks. Appreciate it. We got all our scheduled work done. So well done. So,